Welcome to today's deep dive into one of Florida's most harrowing and unsettling murder cases, the Pasco County Murders. This is a story of escalating tension, a fractured sense of trust, and a chilling outcome that left an entire community reeling. Rory Atwood, a 25-year-old man, stands at the center of this tragic tale. What started as a landlord-tenant dispute spiraled into an unspeakable act of violence that shocked the nation. Join us as we unravel the events that led to this heinous crime, delve into the psyche of the perpetrator, and explore how justice was ultimately served. Pasco County, Florida, is a place known for its quiet neighborhoods and close-knit communities. It's the last place you'd expect to find a gruesome crime scene. Rory Atwood lived in the peaceful town of Hudson, where he owned a small piece of property. He was no stranger to conflict, as his temper and impulsiveness had led to several run-ins with the law over minor disputes. But no one could have predicted what was about to unfold. The victims, a family of four, a mother, father, and their two young children, aged 6 and 5, had been renting a modest home on Atwood's property. Financial hardships had caused the family to fall behind on rent, and tensions with Atwood escalated as weeks turned into months. Witnesses reported heated arguments and threats exchanged between the landlord and tenants. Despite these disputes, no one foresaw the tragedy that would soon occur. June 12, 2024 began like any other day in Hudson. The family had been attempting to negotiate a resolution with Atwood, who had grown increasingly impatient and irate. According to later testimony, Atwood had demanded immediate payment or the family's removal from the property. That evening, neighbors reported hearing shouting from the direction of Atwood's property, followed by eerie silence. Atwood later claimed in his defense that an altercation broke out when the father of the family confronted him with a knife. However, investigators would find little evidence to support this claim. What is known is that Atwood armed himself with a firearm and fatally shot the parents. But the horror didn't end there. He turned his weapon on the children, extinguishing their young lives in a calculated and heartless act. In the aftermath, Atwood scrambled to conceal his actions. He dragged the victims' bodies to a clearing on his property, where he constructed a large bonfire. Witnesses later described seeing smoke and a foul odor coming from Atwood's land, but thought little of it at the time. The chilling details of Atwood's attempts to cover up the crime emerged during the investigation. He had gone to great lengths to destroy evidence, even burning the family's personal belongings to remove any trace of their presence. However, his plan began to unravel when the family was reported missing. Friends and relatives grew alarmed when they couldn't reach them, and a welfare check led authorities to Atwood's property. Pasco County detectives arrived to find a gruesome scene. Burnt remains were discovered in the bonfire pit, later confirmed to belong to the missing family. The evidence pointed overwhelmingly to Atwood. Ballistic tests matched bullets recovered at the scene to a firearm registered in his name, and DNA evidence tied him directly to the crime. Atwood was arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. During his interrogation, he displayed little emotion, maintaining his claim of self-defense despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary. What drove Rory Atwood to commit such a monstrous act? Psychologists who later evaluated him described a man with deep-seated anger issues, a lack of empathy, and an inflated sense of entitlement. Atwood's history of minor conflicts suggested a pattern of escalating aggression, but the murders marked a shocking escalation. Some theorized that financial stress and feelings of powerlessness fueled his rage. Others pointed to his attempts to maintain control over his property at all costs. Regardless of the underlying reasons, Atwood's actions revealed a chilling disregard for human life. The trial of Rory Atwood drew significant media attention. Family members of the victims packed the courtroom, their grief palpable as prosecutors laid out the horrifying details of the crime. The defense argued that Atwood acted in self-defense, but the evidence painted a different picture. The prosecution presented forensic evidence, witness testimonies, and Atwood's own attempts to cover up the crime as proof of premeditation. The jury deliberated for only 4 hours before delivering a guilty verdict. Atwood was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would never harm another person again. The Pasco County murders are a stark reminder of the fragile line between conflict and catastrophe. They underscore the importance of addressing disputes constructively and the devastating consequences of unchecked anger and violence. For the Hudson community, the tragedy left scars that will take years to heal. Vigils were held in memory of the victims, and neighbors rallied to support the surviving family members. The story of Rory Atwood and the Pasco County murders is a haunting tale of loss and betrayal. It reminds us of the importance of compassion and understanding in resolving conflicts before they escalate to violence. As we reflect on this case, let it serve as a call to action to prioritize empathy, justice, and the sanctity of human life. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more compelling true crime stories.